Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to Fix This, Build That Sunday Night Live show. I'm Brad, and Susan will be joining us shortly, so she'll be here in a little bit. She's doing some nightly routines with the kids. We're still off, but you know, whatever. Also, I think maybe she's just mourning the Titans loss. We took a hard L to Cincinnati, but Susan is from Cincinnati. We lived in Cincinnati for 13 years, so if we're going to get beat by anybody, it's good to see them winning at least, although it just still really stinks, but whatever. You know, it happens. I have been working on the office cabinets this week, and I have been making some good progress, although not fast. Good progress. The cabinets are actually right down here below me, so it's going to be like a modular system, and we're working on that, getting that together, ready for paint, which I should be painting some of them tomorrow, and then going in on drawers. So it's going to have a combination of drawers and open shelving, and we're still working out exactly what we're going to do for the top, but it's going to be pretty cool. It'll have something going on in there, and I think it's going to be a really cool project. I'm very excited about it because it's going to get rid of all these shelves, these big industrial shelves that are in my office right now that, you know, just look like trash. So I'm super excited about that. I am also super excited about some new members to the Builders Club. We had quite a few this week. We had Dylan Griffith, Chris Long, Jerry Howell, Mark Sykes, Dustin Callas, which, you know, I feel like Dustin Dallas. That could have been a nice little alliteration. But Jim Doyle. Thank you so much, guys, for joining the Builders Club and supporting the channel. And also, they're going to be getting access to early videos as well as shout outs in the live, shout outs in the main stream, and at certain tiers, free plans. So welcome on board, everybody. If you want to get more information, you can head to fixthisbuildthat.com/Builders Club if you'd like to get some of those perks and support the channel. And a huge shout out to all the Builders Club members here tonight. Thank you so much. All right, who do we have here tonight? Let's see who we got. We got Eddie Woodworks. What's up, my man? He says favorite channel. Well, thank you so much, Eddie. We got Daniel Pike, Stan Powell. How's it going, buddy? Chris K, Crafts by Cunningham, Alan Isaac. We got Teresa Aggie fan here. Ian Z Parentco, Jason, I do believe. All right, awesome. Let's hear. Yeah, the watching the game now. I know the. What is the game that's on right now? I just, you know, it's like after your team's out of the playoffs, I'm like one of those guys that I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I just like totally disown everything. I don't watch any of it. I didn't, to the Rams game-winning field goal. Okay, Rams outlast the Bucks. Man, like everybody's going down, like all the upper seeds. I know Green Bay got beat. Sorry, I know we have some Green Bay fans here. And then KC. Oh, wow, the KC and Buffalo game is super tight, 33-29 apparently. That is a tight game. So good luck to, I don't know, I'd kind of like to see Buffalo win that. So we'll see. All right. Let's see here. What do we have? Beer of the week. Let's see here. Beer of the week. Susan is upstairs if you just joined. She'll be down here in just a little bit. We're going with the Sam Adams Wicked Hazy IPA again. Still nursing off those. So I've actually reduced my beer drinking quite a bit. Susan and I are just trying to eat a little bit healthier, and so instead of, you know, drinking a couple beers every night, I'm like, you know what, if I just didn't do that and drank on the weekend a couple beers, and that's, you know, just a lot of kind of empty calories to cut out, and so I did, and it just makes the beers on the live that much sweeter. I was like, or I could not drink on the live. No, I was like, no, that would be crazy. You got to have a beer on the live. Still good. Still solid. Juicy Hazy. If you're interested in Juicy Hazies, I would highly recommend it. And a big thank you to Katie. All right, main camera. Let's hear. I got this thing going over here. We're just gonna. So it's like, you know, when you have the I've got like the ESPN app, and I'm just gonna set it up right here just so we can see it. Just so I'll, in case. I mean, I'm sure if you're interested, you obviously have a way to watch it as well. But we'll just put that up right there just so I can see the score when it finally comes. All right. What do we have going on? Guys, I have to tell you something. I want to run this by you guys. I would like your feedback. So in the cabinet build, there's two cabinets that are the same exact thing. And so, I cut all the parts, do the thing. And then like I assembled one, and very simple cabinet, 2 sides, 2 shelves, stretchers on the top, and a toe kick. And so, obviously I walked through it and talked about how I did it. And then it was like, all right, I got to build another one now. And so instead of belaboring the fact of watching me build another one, or even doing like some type of montage, I kind of leaned in, got a little goofy, leaned in on the comedy side. And I don't know. It turned out a lot, like we put a lot of effort into it actually, just like thinking about it and actually shooting it, and then the editing part of it. But yeah, I would like, and so instead of showing a build on another one, I decided to be like, I'm going to use the time that I would have done here to do something funny and kind of, make it be a funny thing of how the second one came to be. So I wanted to, and I probably know the answer in this group because you guys are, probably some of my closest followers, and I would imagine that it's going to be right up y'all's alley. I'm going to be interested to see how the general reception is, because it's like it's just a little out there, just a little, and it's like a little extended, but keep on the lookout for it. I think y'all will like it. But we'll see. It may be a totally wrong move, and I may have wasted a half day on nothing when I should not have wasted a half day, but that's okay. Daniel said I'm having FTP withdrawal symptoms. I hear you, man. It's been a while since we've had video out. This whole COVID thing. It's actually funny. I was looking at if y'all follow other YouTubers, or I'm sure you probably do, but some that I follow outside of the woodworking space are Peter McKinnon, and then I don't really follow Mr. Beast. Like I don't watch all his stuff, but I'll on and off watch him. And I follow him on like Twitter because he's like really smart from a creator perspective. And both of those guys have been down this year with COVID, and they hadn't put out like hardly any videos. I think Peter McKinnon put out one at the very beginning of the year, same as I did, and hasn't had another one. So that's like, yeah, man, COVID's just crushing everybody. It sucks. All right, let's see what we have here. Jason Inns, I'm telling you, Inns, man, I'm getting with it, man. Don't understand all the American sports stuff. Hey, man, you gotta if you're in America, you gotta be watching the football. Mixing Creations, what's up, my man? We got Will in the house. What's up, my man? Football or soccer, as you know it. Yeah, it's so funny because soccer is just not a thing in America as big as the other sports are. It's getting there with MLS, Major League Soccer, but it's still got a long way to go. All right, let's see. It's not a waste if I had fun. Well, I definitely had fun. So I don't even think I'm in the actual thing. I think I'm like in the. Buffalo scored. All right, we are now Buffalo 35, KC 33 with 13 seconds left. I don't know if that like just happened, or I realized I was in a static page, not in the like updating Gamecast page. So that probably happened like 5 minutes ago. But there you go. Buffalo is in a commanding lead, but field goal to tie it, 13 seconds. Music City Miracle back in 99. It can happen. Bills just scored, 15 seconds left. Teresa, you got it. Let's see, I'm ahead of you guys. Look, it was right there. You guys had it, and I because my comments are so slow, I actually saw it right before they kicked over. Let's see here. Jason says, is there any issues with the basement shop and noise and other people in the house that get annoyed? Jason, I have experience with that, actually. So my 2 previous shops to this shop were in the basement. And, a lot of it obviously is going to depend upon the type of basement and then like where bedrooms are located in proximity to it. In one house, the first house, and both houses, honestly, when I think about it, there's the basement, and then there's the first floor, which is basically the living space, kitchen, living room, dining room, family room, all there. And then all the bedrooms were on the second floor. So, you're talking 2 floors away, and so you couldn't hear anything. Like I could run the planer down there. The only issue that I have had that we did have was like when there's if there's any ducting. So if you've got ducting and then it goes up, sometimes you can like hear. I was just over at my brother-in-law's house, brother and sister-in-law's house, and up in Cincinnati, and they have a basement, and our boys and then my nephew were down there playing video games, and it was like I could like hear them, like they were not like they were sitting right next to me, but I could clearly hear them just talking. And so like in their house they had a run that must have just been open, and so in something like that would probably be your biggest concern is noise traveling through the ducting. But in my experience, it was not an issue in the two basements that I used as woodworking shops. And if it's a finished basement, or if you have a finished ceiling in the basement, or even a drop ceiling, that'll probably help a lot too. The two I had were unfinished, and they were fine. But yeah, that's gonna probably be the biggest culprit. Or if it's a ranch with a basement and you have the bedrooms right above it, then obviously that'll be bigger of an issue. But I loved having the basement as a shop because basements in general stay a lot more steady in temperature, right? Our basement seemed like it was always like 61 in there. So because it's below ground, obviously, and so it stays cool in the summer and warm in the winter, or warmer than the rest of the house. And so that is one thing that's really nice about a basement. If you don't have a walkout, it's kind of a pain in the butt to get like plywood down there. Especially if you don't have outdoor access. I had to take plywood like through my the place we were in before this. I had to go like through the house, like through the living room, with sheets of plywood and down. And the stairs actually like went down and then took a Louis. And so I was like, dun, dun, and then dead end. It was like the worst setup ever. Because like you would go down the stairs, there's probably like 6 stairs there. It took a turn, so it was a very small landing. Took a turn to the left, you went down maybe another 10 stairs or so, and then right in front of you was the wall. So it's like boom, boom, wall, and the wall was maybe 3 feet from there, 4 feet max, and then you had to go left or right. And so yeah, getting like long lumber down there was such a pain. So yeah, that's the other downside of having a basement workshop. All right, we got KC. They got it up to around the 44. You're not kicking a field goal from that. That's six. What? That's a 73-yarder. That ain't gonna happen. Looks like they got to go for a Hail Mary. Used to hear what the parents were talking about, James. Yeah. Yeah. If you want to tell secrets, definitely don't go in a basement with open ducting and think that people won't hear you up above. All right, who else we got in here? Is there Ryan Matthews? Yellowstone Aquatics. What's up, guys? Brian Farnth in the house. How's it going? Yeah, we're just watching I'm not watching. Just got the score here. I probably could have. Yeah, CBS. I signed up for. Sometimes we get like CBS All Access or CBS Sports that it'll stream the games, the football games, like if I sign into YouTube TV. We've got YouTube TV. But like when I did it this week, it didn't do it. It wouldn't let me do it. And so I signed up for Paramount TV. And now I'm like, why do I got like so many subscriptions? I have like death by subscription. I have so many subscriptions going. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? You've got to be kidding me. They just had a field goal? Apparently, KC just hit a field goal to tie it up. That is insane. What did I tell you? I said, hey, stranger things have happened. That you have got to be kidding me. What did they do? I got to see what the play-by-play. Now I feel like I'm missing it now. Pass short middle to Kelsey, and he ran for 25 yards. My gosh. If you're the Bills, you really got to be kicking yourself for that. Sorry for any Bills fans out there. Geez Louise. That's fantastic. Every game has been cool. Every game has been like really good. If you're an NFL fan, every single game has been like, I think every single game is in the divisional playoffs has been decided by a field goal or less. So very cool. Good games to watch at least. It says Jethro built a boat in his basement with no way to bring it out. That sounds about right. Yeah, I know. if you're building in the basement, you've really got to think about how you get things out of your shop. Because I built, what did I build? I built something down there, and I was like, oh man, how am I going to get this thing out? It was like I think it was, I built a table down there, and I didn't build much down at that first shop. I built a lot of like shop stuff, and I did build like an outfeed table, and I think I had to disassemble it to get it out. It was like you couldn't, just because of the size of everything, like and the angles coming around it. It was a huge pain. All right, everybody's 49. So it was a 49-yard field goal. Man, by the way, the kicker for the Bengals, he's insane. It's like automatic. I think he hit 54 and 52, and it was like they weren't even. Like they could have been good from 64 and 62, and they were like right down the middle. I was not happy about that, but that's okay. It happens. Let's see here. I should just like have it on. We should like stream it. If I tried to stream it here, that would probably go very poorly. But but we could try. I just put it in there. Nah, it doesn't work here. Oh well. All right. So anyway, what's going on with you guys? How's the year getting off for you guys? Because you guys know it's been slow for me. We've been talking about it, but I'm just like it seems like everybody I talk to, they're like, man, this year it's been rough for all kinds of different reasons too. But I don't know anybody who's just like, I love 2022, best year ever. I still have yet to see that. Oh man, I tell you what, Jason says the detached 2-car with a space heater. I was watching some videos the other night. I was watching, what video was it? I think I was watching the nesting. I made a video on nesting step stools. You more than likely have not seen it, but it was in 2018, I believe. And I was using the same bench. I've been using this bench for a long time, but the bench was over kind of where you guys are right now, where the camera is, and then I was doing a few shots, and I had the little space heater sitting over here next to it, and I was like, oh, the days when I had this space heater in the shop. I tell you what, and I'm bundled up, but it's 66 in here. Like it's not cool. It's not cold. I'm kind of a weenie like that. I like to be warm. But having the split unit is just like, that's the best money you can ever spend in a shop. In like my opinion. If somebody's like, should I buy a saw stop or a split unit? I'd be like, get a split unit all day long, because you'll use your shop. Like I can use my shop any day of the year at any point in time and be comfortable in here. And I might have to crank it on or have it up, or like if I open the garage door, it's going to be cold in here for a little bit until it cools back down or warms up, or vice versa, or it's going to be super humid. That's the worst, is like in the summer when it's like really humid, and then I have the door open for a while, and then if I forget to turn off the AC, it'll like overflow with condensation just because it's like trying to take so much moisture out of the air. But yeah, a mini split, I cannot recommend that enough. Like they're just, and they're expensive, but these days they're not that expensive. I think you can buy them for like $800 or something, and if you do the install yourself, I don't know how much like a Mr. Cool, like that's like kind of a DIY one. I don't know what those go for, but I would say for sure under two grand. And I know that's a lot of money. Like I said, I was comparing it to a table saw, but I would 1000% say get a split unit before a big tool purchase. If you want to spend more time in the shop and you don't because it's either too hot or too cold, or you just, sweat your face off and like ruin a finish because you're sweating all over it. I honestly, I cannot say enough about having a climate controlled shop. It's fantastic. Maybe Susan's inside watching the game. Maybe I just figured that out. She was like, oh, I gotta put the kids down. David came to avoid football. Hey man, we're only hitting the highlights here. Let's see here. What do we have? Oh, we have to have a license to watch TV in the UK. What kind of commie BS is that? That sounds crazy. I mean, I don't know. I guess a license could be the same thing as like a subscription, but it's just called something else. That sounds really crazy though. Let's hear, Chris, getting material in the shop, material and projects out is why I decided to go in the garage for the shop. Yeah, man, the garages are great. I would highly recommend to insulate your garage door. So I used a package from, what was it? It was like Rhino, something like that. It was like, I think it was called Rhino. Rhino? No, that's not right. What was it? That was my very first video I ever made, which is, it's still out there. It's just unlisted. But it was something like that, like a Rhino, I can't remember. Anyway, it's like panels, like flexible insulation panels that you put in the cavities of the, the garage door, in between like the uprights. So it's like Matador, not Rhino. It's called Matador. I knew it was something. I was thinking like Charging Rhino, or it's called Matador. And the pack that I bought was for a 8-foot tall, 16-foot wide door, which is what I have, which ends up being 16 panels, because it's four rows that are 4 wide, so it's 4 by 4, except that each area, is like whatever, 2 by 4, or 2 by something like that. Yeah, that makes sense. 2 by 4, 8 foot by 16. Divide both those by 4, you get 2 by 4. Anyway, I would check that out. Who was saying that? Chris. If you don't have your garage insulated, check out those Matador panels. And on one side, it's like white vinyl, so it's a really nice finished look on the interior. And then it has like ribbed insulation so that you can bend it, because you have to kind of like tuck it in and then put it under the the metal framing of the garage door. But I didn't do any like before and after numerical whatever, but insulating that and then having the HVAC, like the HVAC, I didn't even notice a single change like in my electric bill when we put that in, because they're so efficient. Like, and that one's like 20 or 22 SEER, so they're like crazy efficient. Let's see, David, finding premium 2x2 that is square is a pain in the butt right now. Yeah, David. I used to always, not going to say used to, it's just been a minute since I bought it, but I typically buy the Select Pine if I'm going to get something like that from like Depot. And that stuff's, I believe, out of New Zealand. And even those, like even that Select Pine, like, and when you find that Select Pine, like it is really nice. It is a premium, especially now. But the nice thing about it is like, it's like, and I typically do it for like if I'm painting something. It's paint or stain ready. Like you almost don't even have to sand it. Like there's not a knot in it. It's not always, but you have to find the straight stuff. So like you figure like, oh, I'm paying all this money, like I should just be able to grab something. You still can't do that. You got to dig through and find the good stuff. So even if you're buying Select Pine, make sure that you're pulling them off, and that's what, I'll grab them. And most of the time we're in the vertical wood storage, right? So that's kind of my little process is I'll grab the boards and I'll just like pull it up, because it's typically just like, the ceilings in there are like 30 feet or whatever. It keeps going, so you can kind of just like slide it up, and I'll just like look up. So I don't even take them down. I'll sight them all like in there. I'll pull them up, look up high, pull them up, look at the next one, and like check each side to see if they've got a bow to it. And if it does, I set it aside and I just kind of like go through the stack right there, versus pulling them out and going through it on the cart. You can just, just lift them up and sight them right there. Sight on sight, I guess. The 2022, that's right, Jason. What, Jason? 40 degrees with a space heater running 40 degrees with a space heater running 24/7. My goodness. Yeah, you might want to, and I don't know how much, you probably have a lot, Jason, but if you're, for the ink, what I've seen people do for finishes, and so I'm sure you could do this for ink as well, and again, I don't know how much you have, but I've seen people get like storage for your finishes. So if you have like a garage up and you can't pull, you have too much, or you just don't want to mess with pulling it inside, bringing it back out. I've seen people get coolers, and I've seen people, again, depending upon what size you need, either get coolers or like make a cabinet that has, and then put some like insulation on the inside. and then they put a light bulb, put like an incandescent, like 60-watt light bulb in there, and they just let it run all the time. And it's just enough heat to like, it has to be an enclosed space, obviously, but it's just enough heat to like keep that warm and keep it at, 60 degrees or whatever, 50 degrees even. Like if you have that light bulb in there and have a little bit of insulation and have it kind of weather sealed, that might be a good option. And you could have it on a timer so that, it goes, turns on at 10 p.m. and turns off at 6 a.m. or whatever, or just let it run all day, or you could do a number of different things. But that is definitely an option I've seen. And if you don't want to haul it in and out, but still kind of keep it climate controlled and not have to heat your entire shop, narrow it down to just where you have your finishes, or in your case, your screen printing ink. Let's see what else we got here. Propane heaters in the shop. Mine isn't insulated. Brian, I've had a propane heater. I've had a propane heater in here before that I was just messing with, playing with, and obviously the biggest thing in that situation is the combustion and getting fresh air. So you never want to run a propane heater with all the doors closed, garage door closed. Like, you will die. Don't do that, because it basically combusts the oxygen in the air, and then it's not carbon. From what I understand, I'm not an expert in this, but from what my understanding is that it's not so much like a carbon monoxide issue, more of a lack of oxygen issue, because you're burning the oxygen in the air. But also you have the emissions, and I don't even know what the off-gassing. I don't think that's carbon monoxide that comes off propane. Again, I have no idea. Could be. I just know, don't do that. Not safe, not cool. You need, at a minimum, you need some external air to refresh. And I know that kind of defeats the purpose of, having the propane heater if you have the garage door cracked open. But yeah, not safe to run a propane heater in a closed garage for extended periods of time. Unless it's vented. Unless it does have vent, and I've seen some of those that have venting, and so if you do have venting, then that works. The torpedo heater, exactly. Had to have the garage door open. Yep, Jason hit the nail on the head. I'm behind here. And that is the ball game. KC 42-36. That's a good way for the Bills to lose. The Bills always just get beat in just horrible ways. So. I got a text, Aaron Massey, Mr. Fix-It. He texted me. He's like, "Oh man, sorry about your loss." I was like, "Yeah, hope it doesn't happen to you guys." Oops. Travis, what's up, my man? Hey, pull off that win, Travis. Kudos on you. At least somebody's getting a victory out there. Mr. Buddy propane heaters at Home Depot that are safe for indoors, but I'm skeptical. I don't see how. Yeah, if it's a propane heater, the only way that I can imagine that being safe is if it pulls in external combustion air, because that's just right. That's just the law of chemistry, I guess. Propane. Any flame needs oxygen to burn, along with the fuel, and so as it's burning oxygen, and the oxygen is supplying the air, and same thing, like right when you put like if you have a candle and instead of blowing it out, you put something on top, the candle goes out because it's got no more oxygen. That would eventually happen, and I'm sure there's some coming and going. But if you just like let a propane heater, first of all, the flame would die. But I think you'd be knocked out well before that happened, and be in really tough shape. So yeah, I'd be interested to see what they've done, but my only guess could be that they do an external combustion, because like that's what a lot of actual HVAC units do. Is like if you have a gas HVAC unit, they will have external combustion. That's like the newer ones. They're more efficient. They'll have one pipe that comes in for combustion air and one pipe that goes out for exhaust. And that doesn't go into your house at all. Like that's just for the combustion of the gas, which shoots the propane in and heats the heat exchanger. And so it's like two sections of air. If you guys know how HVAC works, I've got a basic understanding. But basically, yeah, it's two different systems. Like the internal air in your house does not interact with the air that is used for combustion, because that combustion air, the propane goes and hits a heat exchanger, which heats up a bunch of fins and all this good stuff that the air flows through and picks up the heat. Technically, it takes out the cold, I think, of the, things don't pick up heat, they lose cold. But anyway, and then it goes through out of your house. So you've got one going in and out of the house, and then the other one just circling within your house. So I don't know how it would be any different. Let's see, what else we have. HD didn't have any premium wood at all, just the cheaper stuff. Oh man, that stinks, David. Tyrone, what's up, my man? Oh, pulling for the bill. Sorry about that, buddy. I know how that feels until we took a hard L last night. But I know. Yeah, that's right, Travis. I know you're more of a Packers guy, but everybody's getting beat these days. Mr. Buddy Heaters state not to use in an enclosed space, Stan says. Thank you, Stan. Yeah, that's what I assume. I mean, I don't see how you could get around that. But and that's the really cool thing about the mini split. So that's what when I say HVAC mini split. So like those, that has it's got the whole system is outside. So why it says mini split is because it's split, just like I was gonna say just like your one inside, but those aren't split at all. Well, some of them are. Like we have one that is and one that isn't. So like our internal one, we have like the heater element is inside, and then it has a coil on it that has the condenser coil for the air conditioning, and then the compressor for the air conditioner is outside. So you got the big the big box with the fan on it. That's for your air conditioner typically. But we also we have two units for our house, one for downstairs, one for upstairs. But the other one, so it's really weird. We have one that's a 2-component and one that's a single all external, which is like it's a electric heat pump. No, it's a gas heat pump. But the nice thing about these is that it's all electric, but it's extremely efficient, because typically electric is not efficient if you're talking about heating and cooling. It's much more efficient to use something like propane. But because the mini splits are so efficient, and it's the way that the compressor works, and it's I forget what they call it, but there's some technology in that system where it's like, instead of like being all on or all off, it's like micro. It's kind of like, I don't know a good analogy for it, but it'd be like, instead of like hitting something with like a flamethrower or doing nothing to it, you're kind of like hitting it with a butane torch the entire time, right? If that makes sense. But something in there, and anyway, way more efficient, because it's not like ramping up and kicking on. It's just kind of like steady state the entire time versus on off, like most of our HVAC systems, right? When your air conditioner comes on, it comes on full bore for however long until it gets down to that temperature, then it cuts off, right? Then it waits till the heat goes up a degree over where you've got it set, comes on again, full bore, so it's like on off. Multi-phase, something like that, I don't know. But that's not how mini splits work. So, and that's why they're so much more efficient. In case you wanted to know, and you can go do your own research, because I'm sure I butchered that, but that's kind of the idea, at least. Heat pump runs the AC in reverse. Exactly. Yeah. That's what heat pump, but it is gas powered though, because we have gas. It is. There are electric heat pumps and then gas heat pumps, at least here in the U.S. I don't know if that's different in different parts of the country or not. Ripcord, what's up? I know everybody's coming in after the game. It was like, the game. I missed the whole thing. Sounds like it was a heck of a game. Maybe I'll go watch it on replay or something. I might go watch like just the fourth quarter. Inverter. That's what it's inverter technology. In Animation Creation said just Technology Connections has a good video on why heat pumps are so efficient. But it's inverter technology. I have no idea what that means, but I just remember it's something like inverter. And so has to deal with that. Whatever. That's what I'm going with. Inverter. Something inverter technology. I think Susan fell asleep. Jason, is a split unit both. A split unit is technically a heat pump, so it does, but it will cool and heat, exactly what animation was saying. It's just like one goes in reverse, so instead of like spewing the heat out, it's grabbing the heat. It's either dumping the heat when it's in AC mode or pulling the heat when it is in heating mode. Sorry. Because it's just like there's not two separate units. There's no gas. It's all electric, and it all runs off of that one compressor box. I don't know if I should call it I don't know if you call it a condenser or a compressor or whatever, but it's all just like one unit outside. No gas, all electric. And they do have some that will, and so it even says like it will only heat down to a certain amount, because that is the one drawback of heat exchangers. So if you're like up in Green Bay or something, mini split is only going to work for so long, because once you get under, and they're all rated differently. But I think mine will go down to, mine goes down to maybe like 24 degrees, and then like under that it just like doesn't work, because there's not enough heat in the air to pull out and make that exchange. So again, do your own research, but that is how that works. Is it's all one system, and it just is either pulling it or pushing it, depending upon if it needs heat or if it needs cooling. Tyrone just put in a wood heater with an exhaust. I would love to have. I think there's something like so. I would say. I just, whenever I try to think of words, I have weird words come through my mind. I was thinking like ornamental. That doesn't like. That is kind of what I'm thinking. Like nostalgic, but not nostalgic, but like just like comforting. Like I feel like sitting in a rocking chair, having like a wood burning stove, and having like a brick wall behind it, and you're just like sitting there. I just like imagine like carving a spoon in a rocking chair in front of like a wood burning stove, and that just sounds delightful to me. You were sleeping, weren't you?
No, I wasn't.
You weren't? Wow.
I was not.
Were you watching the game?
What? No, I was talking to.
I had a new theory. There was like the KC and Buffalo game was like a barn burner, went to overtime.
You thought I was just off watching?
I was like, you know what? I think she's actually watching the game.
Yeah, I was talking to the children. We had things to talk about.
Ladies and gentlemen, Susan Rodriguez.
Hello. Better late than never.
She doesn't have the pillow. Normally she.
Oh yeah, I'm really
on the
low
pillow.
now. That's right.
Yes.
Big life-altering questions were being asked at bedtime.
Per usual.
But
usual.
I was like, I need to get downstairs. And it was like, but what if you die? I'm like, oh my gosh.
Golly.
For real, that was a question. I'm like, oh, honey.
Like, I'm not going to die in between here and like going downstairs.
No. He was talking.
I know.
Yeah.
But
it was just
the way you said it was funny.
deep, heavy questions. So, children.
Yeah. Children.
They will ask those.
They will. They will. We've been. We were just talking about heating the shop, and we kind of had an ongoing conversation about heating the shop, and then Tyrone was talking about he had a wood burning stove, and I said
that sounds delightful.
That's exactly what I said. Like a rocking chair, wood burning stove, and like carving a spoon.
I would just sit out there with a rocking chair and like drink hot
a cat.
chocolate. A cat. It just sounds so picturesque to me. Is that what you said?
I was like,
we're the same person.
No, that was what I was trying to say. You know me, I struggle for words these days. And so I was like, the two words I had were ornamental and nostalgic.
Ornamental.
Exactly. That's what I was like. This is not like that was like what was in my head, and I was like, that is not the right word. But it was,
You needed me here to say
picturesque. Like ornamental is.
Yeah.
Could be a loose.
Ornamental would be like
synonym to
a stove that doesn't work, though, right?
Like I said, it wasn't the right word. That's why I didn't use it.
Got it.
But I was picturesque. That is exactly what I was looking for. That's what I need her around for.
That's why he keeps me around.
She's got a master's in writing, so
I can think of big words like picturesque.
Like picturesque.
Every once in a while, I throw out a big vocab word. So do you.
Darren says, "The Queen has arrived."
That's right. Oh, geez.
Oh man, let's hear 9C22. Docs Jane, he just jumped straight in. When are you going to upload a new video? Doc, I was wondering the same thing, my friend.
It's a valid question.
You missed earlier in the chat. We were talking about it.
Did
22.
You cover it?
I did. 2022 has not been good to us.
We need to do it. It's not been that bad.
It's not been bad, but it's not been good either. That's my point. It's just been.
It hasn't been productive.
It's just been a struggle. And we're fine. Everything's fine. We're
Right.
just, we've been dealing with a lot of stuff. Nothing life altering, just stuff slowing us down.
yeah.
Working through things.
We decided
All kinds of things. Like I'm looking for a new CPA because my CPA went crazy and we like had a big falling out, and which is a great time. Tax time is the perfect time to do that.
perfect time to do that.
Anyway, and so
go ahead and mess up our
my
taxes.
dad's helping me with that, and all the COVID with everything happening with all of our people.
Yes, we've decided that our only child that has
Snow
not
days.
yet had COVID is probably just gonna
Yeah.
be out next.
Yeah, our oldest is going back tomorrow.
Right.
He's out of quarantine, and our middle guy has not had it, and
Or he's
I've not
been-
had it
Right.
technically. I've never tested positive. I feel
We
like I probably had
tested
it
him.
though. But anyway,
All negative.
all that to say, it's going to
Yeah.
come out when we're done.
Right.
And we're actively, and we're also working on a very big project.
Right.
That it's just a
gonna
lot of
be
moving,
amazing.
lot of moving parts.
Oh my gosh. it's
So,
gonna be good.
I'm not going to commit. I'm not going to commit because every time I commit, I fail you. I'll say it'll be out by the end of
so
February.
dramatic.
It will 100%
fail
be
you.
out by the end of February. I will
Honey.
guarantee
the end of
that.
February. I thought you were saying January, and I was like,
Oh, no, that's like next
baby.
week. Yeah, that's
Nope,
no,
I don't know about that.
no. I will
Yeah.
not commit to next Sunday.
But maybe. We never know. You know,
It's got sponsor approval. That's why I'm.
we're in survival. Well,
We
we're
should be
not in
done by
survival
the.
mode.
We should be done by the end of this week. Should be, but then it will go to sponsor approval, and that'll
Yeah.
take a while. I'm sure.
Yeah, but probably.
So
But yeah.
that's the
we're
answer
working. We're
to
working
that.
on it. It
Doc.
just takes a minute.
Doc's is just like, listen here, pal.
He's like,
When are you
what
doing
have you been doing?
Freaking new video.
Laying around, watching football. We have done some of that too.
Yes.
It's been tough, man.
David, Rode 2 wireless mic. Dude, David, that's.
What was this?
David was talking about wireless mics. So David, I would be very interested in. I'm not very familiar. I am familiar with the Rode 2. I mean, I could say I'm very familiar with it. I mean, I understand how it is, but can you use the Rode 2? Could we output into a USB and use that as a sort? Because I use a mixer. So getting into the weeds here a little bit. I use a little USB mixer, and these are XLR microphones, and so in that way they're this is like an amplifier basically. But yeah, I would love to have us wireless. That would be
Yep.
nice. We wouldn't
was
have
the
to
goal
run into
eventually.
stuff. And we looked into a lot of stuff, and it was like,
Sorry.
it was a challenge.
Yeah.
And so we didn't. Also, the mics were a little bit different, but those
Oh yeah. No, I forget. There was
the
a
little
thing with
Rode
the
ones. They're like
mics.
just little clip jobbies. They're super small.
I like when you use the word jobby. It's fun.
They're super small, and because I did see, and I saw recently Deity has come up with one, and I think that's the one that you could use and then like output to USB and just like plug it into the. I'd have to get, I think, a bigger USB thing because we've got. Well, no, I could because we don't need that mouse Dealie because we don't use that. Jobbies and
Dealie
Dealie.
is like the cousin. Jobby is the
Jobby-
cousin of Dealie. No,
Jobby and
whatever.
Dealie, those are two of my faves.
Just good times.
Stan says hello.
Hey Stan, how are
Susie
you?
Doozy.
Things are going well.
Ooh.
What?
James says he heats with wood in the house. Nice. You see that? I
I've
wouldn't want to
heard
go. I wouldn't want to go that route.
Well, but you know,
I wouldn't want to have to like have wood all the time to heat my house. I would like want it to be like I'm gonna do like a little. I'm gonna go hang out in like the man cave, shop getaway, whatever. And I'd go out there and stoke the fire. And what?
Keep the home fires burning.
Stoke the fire and
Yeah.
and go out there and have a
Yeah.
IPA and
Right. That
Carve a
sounds
spoon.
delish. I was going to say, though, John, where do you live? Because I have heard about people that live like in Minnesota or like really
John?
cold.
Am I
You
James?
said James? Sorry.
Said James.
My apologies. My apologies.
I apologies. I think
I don't know what I'm saying. I lost to him at Jeopardy tonight. And
Oh,
it threw me
crushed
for
her.
a loop.
No, I didn't
Oh,
crush her.
so frustrating.
It
Anyway,
was 2-1.
back on task here. Back on track. I'm saying all the wrong things. But no, I've heard people that live in
You
really
crushed
cold.
it with picturesque, and you've fallen.
I've just
hard
steady
from there.
decline since then. No, but I've heard people that live in really cold climates have they'll have heating, but then they'll have
Supplemental.
Yeah, like a wood burning stove or something, so that when it gets really cold, that they can. That's like their, like just to kind of keep the house warmer. Because when it was really for us, really cold is like what was it last week or the week before?
It's in the teens.
It was cold. I mean, I realized for a lot
Teens
of
are cold.
places That was not that bad.
Teens are cold wherever you're.
We are
I mean,
not
let's be
used
real.
to that.
Like I wouldn't, it's not like
Brutal.
right.
Like
it's not like the
Fargo
worst
or something.
thing. Yeah.
I feel like it's like negative 10
like
or something.
we get it. We lived in
insane.
Cincinnati. I lived there for 13 years. Susan for
My whole life, pretty much, until I moved here.
a lot longer than that. And so yeah, we're like we can handle the cold. We just don't.
We used
want
to be able to handle the cold. I think we have really
We still
got.
can. We just don't think we want to. I mean, I can handle it. I've been wearing long johns for a week.
That's true.
I got
You
long
do have
johns
to
on
dress
right
for
under the
it.
pants.
But it's just the fact that like whenever we leave, we now have like
mess
Brad's
around.
office and my office, and they're in different parts of the house essentially. Those two rooms are warm, but when you leave the rooms, it's like a cold draft. Like
Yeah.
we don't have a really old house.
Our
It was
bedroom's
just so
like
cold. Anyway,
-30.
not very excited.
Taylor.
Hey Taylor.
He always loves jumping in at the end.
So do I tonight. I
It's
just
all
got
good.
here.
It's all good. I like it. I like the way you roll, Taylor. It's all good. Yeah, unproductive, exactly. I thought Teresa, I thought it said, I was trying to read it, I thought it said productive, like productive.
That's kind of
yeah,
about
I kinda
right,
like, I
though.
kind of like that.
Sort of productive, sort of not.
Yeah, so quite a few people have been bouting with that. Yeah, I mean, it's, it's not fun.
I
It's
feel
not
like it
fun.
should be the
But
opposite.
At least,
It's January. We should all be like, let's take
Yeah,
on our houses
I know,
and
I
make
know.
things
But
happen.
on the bright
but-
side, the newer strand is,
Oh, right. Omicron. Was
yeah,
that something that-
doesn't seem to be,
Yeah.
um,
It's been pretty mild for us.
yeah,
I'm sure that's been
super
different
hard.
for
Like,
the
we're
people.
not like laid up. It was just like, ugh, it just
Yeah.
felt like junk.
Yeah. For sure.
Daniel says he uses wood to heat his brisket.
What now? Who know
He's
what
just
now?
talking about he's talking about barbecuing.
Gotcha.
Or excuse me, what would you call it? Is that barbecue? That's not barbecue. That is
Smoking?
smoking.
Yeah. A
Right.
smoker.
There's a difference.
I know.
I didn't know that for a while.
Well, Jason has a smoker.
But like you don't say like I'm barbecuing.
Oh.
Like barbecuing is like
Wait a minute.
fire, cook,
Oh.
and like smoking is like
No, I did not know that.
yeah.
Didn't know.
Yeah, barbecue is like direct flame
Right. Sizzle.
from what I hear.
Is the egg thing, the egg ones that you see at Costco,
That would
is that a smoker or is that a barbecue?
I don't know how those work,
I don't
quite
either.
frankly.
They look fancy and beyond my abilities.
I don't see how that couldn't be direct flame, but
It's
I
gotta
mean it
be
is a
smoker.
smoker. It's a smoker.
Right.
But I don't know if it's like way down below
Oh,
and then
no.
it just
Y'all, I love to barbecue. And it
have
is
no
really
idea.
barbecue because it's on the grill. And I was going to grill today because it was a high of 50.
it's nice out today.
And that is like in the winter, if it's going to be anywhere near 50, I'm probably going to grill something.
Yeah.
But I didn't get to it. So tomorrow's going to be 53. Going to grill. It's
We
just so much
grilling.
better grilling.
All right, we got it from David. Rode 2 wireless, good quality when you're live for your mixer.
Oh,
Good cue when you're live for your mixer. They connect to the GoPro as a mic input, probably to your camera too, depending upon inputs. Run 2 mics together, one for each. I have to look at that, Daniel, because we don't run it that way. We run XLR because we use the mixer. We don't run the audio through the camera. We run it direct into OBS as an input. Not that we couldn't. I guess we could technically run through the camera and get a splitter, or do the 2. I know that comes with 2 transmitters and 1 receiver, so maybe that's how that works. So I'll have to look at that because I've been thinking about. I don't know, I'm always thinking about getting
he's
other
always
stuff.
thinking.
T-Hub, go-to scribing tool. I'm basic, man. I am straight basics,
He's not,
brother.
that is basic.
Boom. Just an old school compass.
It looks like a solid compass.
It's all right. I mean, it's just like a little
Is
pot
it just
metal piece of
painted
junk.
gold or something, or
I
what?
don't know. It's like it's not
fancy.
painted gold, but I'm sitting like a
Is
24
it
karat gold.
24?
24 karat.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
no,
this is the only time that song has ever been sung about a compass.
Yeah,
Oh
no.
my gosh,
This,
I do love it,
This
though.
is what I use for all my scribing needs. Not necessarily all of mine, but most of my scribing needs.
The majority.
The majority of them. I tell you what, that actually I was just, if you guys are not following Carpentry by Mar, I don't know if that's his name or whatever, That dude's amazing, but he was giving some tips, and he was talking about a carpenter's pencil. And this one isn't sharpened. Let me grab one that is carpenter's pencil for scribing, because you can use it like this, and that's like a 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit more than a 1/4 inch.
Okay.
Or you can use it on edge, which is maybe a 1/2 inch. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's find out. We got the calipers here. Well, not that, I mean, it doesn't matter.
We have calipers
like,
here.
When
Should be like the tagline of the channel.
So it's 9/16, well,
Okay.
5.56 of an inch. Let's see how thick it is. 1960. This does not like any standard dimensions. It doesn't seem. 0.295. We'll do millimeters here in a second. And then I wonder what the diagonal was.
I mean, this is
0.478. Well, we're answering some questions here. So 755 millimeters, 1420. So it doesn't look like it's any kind of standard.
Right.
But this is a great one. So you can ride it, if you just need, and obviously you'd be going off the center line, but if you just need to describe something that's, 1/4 of an inch or so, you can just use a carpenter pencil and run it along.
It's like a hack.
Again, depending upon what you're scribing, sometimes you need the reach, or you need it to be a certain shape or size or whatever. But yeah, that's my go-to. Taylor is just the old school compass.
Sorry.
Riveting.
That's bedtime. I know. No, that's
Riveting.
just me yawning. I thought it was going to be like they're all a standard this or that, and that would be so cool, But
Teresa wants to know if we've redone the banisters yet.
No. No, we haven't.
Yeah.
We haven't even ordered our flooring yet, but
Yeah.
eventually. That's going to be like a spring job, we've decided.
Oh, I messed it up. Daniel says barbecue is smoking, direct fire is grilling.
What?
So it's grilling and barbecuing.
Whoa,
not,
whoa. Barbecuing is smoking?
Yeah. So we grill.
I
So
did
you always
not
say
know.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
So like when you're throwing stuff
Yeah,
on the
I used to say
propane.
I'm going to grill.
I knew it was. See, I
But I felt like
I have no idea.
people saying that they're barbecuing. I felt like that was more like
But I know
a
someone who's, like,
regional
really-
thing, like maybe more people that are actually more southern than us. They might say barbecue.
like the guy that was talking about it was like a Kansas City dude. So he's
Okay.
like,
He's legit.
he's legit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not on here. This is like
I
something
felt
I
like it
watched.
was like do you say pop or do you say Coke?
Right.
Kind
No,
of thing.
that is not it. There are
No.
strict definitions.
Okay.
Direct fire is grilling. There we go.
Direct fire.
Direct fire.
That sounds official.
James said they went from 45 on Tuesday to -30 Wednesday afternoon.
I'm sorry, degrees or
Yes.
like wind chill? Where do you
Yeah.
live? Oh, sorry, who's this?
James, he's in
James.
Edmonton.
See?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what he's
Yep, that's what he's got the wood fired. What?
in. Yeah.
Wow. I
Blame
would
Kenneth.
just shrivel up.
Sound just got real scratchy. He
Did
said.
it? Oh, it's probably me doing something. My hands, the minute it drops below, I would say like
Static on the mic.
55. Oh,
Oh, I wonder if it was
it
this.
heard us talking about
It
them.
did.
It was
It
like,
did.
oh yeah, you're gonna get new mics, then we're gonna start getting crazy over here. Anyway.
Sounds about right. Hopefully that's
But-
better, guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry. But no, like the minute it drops below like 55 degrees, I start getting like
She has
my
like cracked
just,
fingers.
You have
She uses
a
my
different-
if you ever have a problem with your hands
like
in the
mine
shop,
crack and bleed. It's really bad.
O'Keefe's working hands
Yeah.
is awesome.
Anything like that, anything
Susan,
of that consistency. 'Cause
she
there are
buys that
other
by, like,
ones-
the gallon.
I do, seriously, and I have to use. I put it on every night before bed, and then like during the day too, because my hands just tear up. But yours never do. But I feel like it's
I'm
because
an
you have.
oily Hispanic.
It's because you have an olive complexion. I was gonna
Yes.
say olive complexion, not oily.
I went for oily Hispanic.
Yeah, and
because
I am
that's
not.
what
I am just-
I am just like
paper.
if you like see
papery skin
if
here.
you are like where's oh, we don't have it anyway. Nothing. If you have oily skin,
Yes.
yeah, and obviously certain heritages are more prone to oily skin
Right,
versus like Susan's like
Very German.
Dutch German,
I'm not
pale
Dutch German.
pale complexion.
I'm Scotch English German. I am not
Same
oily.
thing.
Yeah.
And I am Spanish, Cuban, and so my skin is much more oily. And like when we're like when I'm like making the bed and there's like her pillow and then my pillow, it's disgusting.
Well, and
if you have oily skin, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like you could see where my head is. It's just like I'm like how
I don't know. And I have way more hair than you, but that doesn't
What it must be,
matter.
maybe it's because of my neck. Maybe it's because of
I
like
don't know, but do you remember you used to be like
or I think it's just my face. Like when I
For
roll,
years-
and so it's like
This is like a
I
confessional.
ruin I ruin case covers
But no,
because
I remember
my skin is so oily.
for years you were like, I'll just use like the old like pillowcase because it's just gonna. And I was like, oh no, you're using a nice pillowcase.
I just wanted to use like a dark
we can buy
navy.
new pillowcases. It's fine. Like you shouldn't have to use an old scratchy pillowcase.
You give me like a nice 1,000 thread count thing. I'll destroy it in like.
But the flip side of that is Brad goes in the sun for about 20 minutes and he's got a tan. And it would take me forever to still never have a tan. Like I can't tan like that.
That's true. Let's hear. Will says try hold bond crack relief.
What is this? Gold Bond?
Oh, that's probably what he's saying was Gold Bond.
Yeah.
It said Hold Bond.
I haven't tried
I'm sure
that
it was
one.
probably Gold Bond.
But I used
Gold Bond crack
the
relief.
O'Keeffe's, thank you. And then I've used...
Will, you should try out O'Keeffe's Working Hands.
But I think they're probably,
fantastic.
they might be very similar. I feel like I've had other brands that are all like, sort of like that. It almost looks like pomade, like you put it in your hair back in the day, but it's just this, I don't know. I love it. Like it's thicker.
It reminds me of like coconut oil or something.
Yeah.
Like coconut.
And then it's not really that greasy
butter.
on your hands. Like I'll just kind of wipe them off on a
It's
towel
like dry.
and then I'm good to go.
Yeah, it's like dry.
Yeah, it's thick.
Mike Cardinal, what's up, man? What are my thoughts on using 1/2-inch Baltic birch for a 7-foot folding miter shelf?
7 foot.
Too heavy?
folding miter.
Should I go for 1/2-inch oak veneer instead? A 7-foot folding miter shelf. So I'm assuming you're talking about making a floating shelf with folded miters. No, I made a 6-footer out of 3/4. It wasn't Baltic birch.
Does that matter?
Well, it's just heavier. It's much heavier.
Okay.
But no, you're fine. You're fine. I mean, yeah, you're fine. You need to. Well, I was thinking like it depends upon your anchors, obviously. So as long as you're using like a substantial anchor, and at 7 feet, you're going to be hitting
Studs.
4 or 5 studs. And so the size, that's the kind of cool thing about shelves, floating shelves in general, is that a lot of times it doesn't matter as much because like the length doesn't matter because that's just more studs that you're going to have support the weight. So you might need to add extra anchors and make sure you're putting, right, so you're just not going to have one on each end and then try to carry that whole load. Because, so if you did so a 1/2-inch, like a 3/4 inch 4x8 sheet of Baltic birch is darn near close to 100 pounds. So 1/2-inch, would probably be in the 60 to 70 pound range. And if you're doing 7-foot shelves, you're, probably using all, again, depending upon the length, the depth of your shelves and all that, it's not that heavy when you think about it. It's, you might have 30 pounds, 40 pounds max in the shelf. So, that's heavy, but in the sense of like across a 7-foot span, not a big deal. So if you want to use Baltic birch, I would absolutely use Baltic birch. I would use whatever, honestly. So you don't need the extra structural integrity of Baltic birch for a shelf like that, because most of the weight is being carried by the support structure, depending upon, again, how you're doing that. If you're doing like a hollow one like I did and using internal supports like all along it, then you can make it out of anything. You can make it out of poplar, pine, and all that stuff's going to hold up. So so if I was going to use Baltic birch for a shelf, I would be doing it because it's easy to work with. It is very stable. It's not going to be warped. It's going to be easy to do the joinery on. But you're also kind of losing out on some of the benefits of using Baltic birch because none of that stuff really matters because you're kind of closing it all up with the folded miters anyway. And so all that is going to kind of work itself out as long as you can make the cuts accurately. So I definitely wouldn't pay up for Baltic birch. Let me put it that way. I wouldn't pay up for Baltic birch to do that. I would just use like a standard 1/2-inch birch or oak or whatever, because you don't, the qualities of Baltic birch that make it so nice, you're not really going to be using them. So you're not going to have an exposed edge because you have folded miters. And like I said, unless like the rest of the plywood you buy is like all potato chipped out and then it's super hard to make those miters, that will be a benefit is if you do have it. But honestly, I've had a lot of Baltic birch that has gone wonky on me recently. irritates me to no
Wow.
end. Yeah. So it's, just because you buy Baltic birch doesn't mean it's going to stay flat once you bring it into your shop or house and it acclimates. Let's see here. James, he was on his deck in his hoodie with, he was on his deck with a hoodie drinking beer when it was like -30 the other day. So I hear you.
For like 30 seconds or?
No, he said it was like 50 today. It was like 50, -30, back to 50.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I know, that's like enough to get you sick for sure.
Oh yeah.
Mike, what the heck does that mean? C8? You mean CA glue to fix the push button and the charging port? Oh, so you're really getting into it. I've actually got one right here.
He does.
I do, because I took it off because I was doing something else with it, which will be part of the video coming up indirectly. You won't know it, but you may.
If you're really paying attention.
If you're really paying attention. No, but I did not CA glue them in. I hot glued them in. So the button is actually friction fit in. Because the button has it's actually right there. Let me grab it.
Yeah.
It's I'm just doing it. So the button, I like it when people say button. It's like not button. It's just button. The button is this is one of the buttons. I took it off. I used the wiring from the shelf because I ordered some and I didn't have the right parts to do this other thing I wanted to do with some LEDs, so I just gutted one of those because I needed to hot glue, because I did hot glue. So the charging port is in. If you've not seen the video, it's the floating shelves. I did the mitered floating shelves, and I drilled a hole in it and I put the LEDs underneath. I use this little button right here, which is just a very simple on-off button, and it is threaded. And then typically, you would have a nut, and you would put that in, typically like a piece of sheet metal or whatever, and then put the nut on the back end to hold it in place. Because of the size of this is like almost to the top, is almost exactly 3/4 of an inch, and so it's too short. And I could have like counterbored a hole and done all that, but because it's got threads, I just cut the hole so that it was like super close to there, and I can just literally just push it in and it stays there. So I didn't hot glue this one in, but I did hot glue in the charging port. And that's why I have it out here as well, because I didn't do a very good job on one of them. And when I went to charge it, the port went whoop and popped back inside. I was like, ugh. So I re-hot glued it.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Was that a great moment?
No, because I was shooting B-roll at the time, actually.
Oh,
I was
that's right.
shooting, of me putting it in. And I was like, I guess I won't be using that part. So just hot glue is what I use. CA glue is not going to work as well because it just doesn't have as much gap filling properties to it. So I just squeeze the big old.
It's a lovely noise. I feel like our 11-year-old would have made. I think he did make that noise earlier.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
But that's what I did.
Yeah.
And it worked well if you put enough on there.
Yep.
The Gold Bond is pain reliever. Oh, the Gold Bond has pain reliever in it. That's interesting.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look at this.
Gerald Pratt, what's up?
Yes.
Built a version of the table saw outfeed table this weekend. Pretty happy with it. Awesome, Gerald. Would I recommend paste wax over the poly coat on top? No, I would not, because poly is, I've never really finished stuff. I know people do it, and it depends upon, I guess, what you're trying to get out of it. Like, I just want a quick, easy coat. Polyurethane is fine. If it's going to get beat up, I'm not going to go refinish my outfeed table. So I want to give it as much. I want to kind of be one and done with the outfeed table. And poly is a great one and done. And when I say one and done, I mean I did 2 or 3 coats, but you finish it once, you really don't come back and mess with it. I just let the finish get beat up. Whatever happens, happens. With paste wax will wear out. It'll dry out and it will transfer onto whatever you're putting onto. So that is another thing. If you have a paste wax finished assembly table, you can potentially mess up the finishes of your pieces. Like if you're using it as an assembly table and that wax transfers, then your finish won't want to stick to the
Seems
finished
like a
piece.
problem.
Could be.
Potentially.
And so that would be one reason, but also just because it's going to wear out, and then paste wax is something that you need to reapply on occasion. I don't want to do that. I just want to like do it once, and it's going to be much more durable. Polyurethane finish is going to be super durable. Paste wax finish is, it's not a film finish at all. So you get zero protection from, I don't say zero protection, but like, it's just not, it's not going to hold up as much, and it won't hold, like if you have solvents, if you spilled some mineral spirits or something, like it's going to eat through that wax really quickly versus it's just going to kind of sit on top of the poly because the poly is cured and hardened. So I would absolutely use a polyurethane, and that's what I use on all my shop furniture. And that is a benefit. That would be a benefit. So let me rephrase that slightly. I have finished, so I would do a polyurethane and then put paste wax on top of that only for the aspect of the slickness of the paste wax. So, and when I said like it could transfer, that's only like if you're constantly applying and you've got like a thick coat of paste wax on there, you're not going to get, it's not going to mess up your finish if you just are like laying stuff on it or sliding boards across it.
What if your shop is really hot?
That's a good question. I don't think like if you've treated it the right way, like if you've put it on and then wiped it off and buffed it so that like you shouldn't have any like standing wax. Like when you finish it with paste wax, it's all like absorbed into the wood.
Okay.
But if it was like extremely hot, it could liquefy, I guess. I'm absolutely sure it would transfer more the hotter it gets.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think any of it would be meaningful.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I absolutely have paste waxed. I have paste wax. I use it all the time. I would paste wax my table saw. I used to. I started using T9 Bow Shield, but I used to wax the tabletop, and I used the wax on the table saw sled and things like that. My jigs.
I was really hoping you were going to say wax on.
Oh, wax on, wax off. No,
but
no, didn't go there.
Sadly.
Yeah, the extra edges to clamp to are awesome, Gerald. I love having. That's why I did that overhang there. Daryl, that's what I use it on. So what else do I use paste wax for? Mainly for I use it for cleaning. Honestly, it works great as a cleaner. It also smells amazing. I want to use it as like aftershave. I've had, but this is like
on your face might not help with the pillowcase.
I thought you were going to say paste wax, face wax. Mm-hmm. Johnson's. I mean, just like, so you can see how much this. I've had this can for.
Oh gosh, I can smell
years
it.
on years.
It smells like shoe polish.
Yeah, it does. It smells good.
Oh wow, that's strong. I mean, I like it and everything, but it's strong.
Yeah, you don't want to. I mean, it's probably killing brain cells, but.
Probably.
Oh man, it smells good.
That's almost like. I wonder if some people don't like the smell of that because it seems very distinctive, like the smell of a Sharpie.
It reminds me of my grandfather.
Yeah.
It just smells like a old dude's shop. And maybe my kids will be like, oh man, I mean, not that I'm using paste wax, no. But you can see I've used this a lot. If you use paste wax,
Diet Mountain Dew.
paste wax and a gray Scotch Brite pad, or a white one if you want to be a little more gentler on your stomach, as Nolan Ryan may say. A gray Scotch Brite pad and paste wax will take rust off of cast iron tool surfaces very well. You will get a little swirling because this is, I think the gray one is close to like 220, maybe a little bit less, like a little higher grit than that, but you will put grit marks. So the white one will not. So depending upon how aggressive I want to be, if it's just like surface rust, I'll use the white and the paste wax. And then if that doesn't work, I'll bust out the gray Scotch Brite. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's what I mainly use it for, is cleaning, and then sniffing. Yeah.
You're sniffing your clothes can.
I love the smell of paste wax in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm serious. They should have a paste wax aftershave.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
Oh my gosh, it's 9:40.
Like a paste wax candle or something.
I know. All right.
Seems like that'd be doable.
All right. Will, I 220 or 320. I mean, 220 is fine as far as sanding up to. Mike Cardinal just put down a deposit on the 2024 Chevy Silverado EV.
Ooh.
I put mine in day one.
I mean,
I'm
was
so excited.
never more excited to put down a deposit on something.
Never
right?
been more excited to spend $100,000. No, they said
is
like
$100,
the
right?
top. Yes.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, the top of the line was gonna be 100. I'm like, excuse me.
For a
like,
truck.
What? I was hoping for like 30 or 40. I mean, I think the base model is like 40 grand. So
Well,
we'll see if I actually.
in between the two, you know.
There's a huge lot of room between 40 grand and 100 grand. So
It's like 60.
I'm hoping that the base model will be pretty well packed out.
Yeah.
But then again, I fully expect to probably spend 50 or
You're delusional.
60 on it.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna get one, you know, like.
Oh, yeah,
I'm not
I'll
saying
have
go
that.
hog wild, but I am saying get what you need.
I mean, I'm driving a 2011 right now. Give me a break.
He's doing his time.
I've also got a 2003 in the.
We just can't get
driveway.
rid of an avalanche around here.
I am all about that.
Like
Mike.
used car prices have never been better. Still have our
Yes.
used car that we are not using.
What is up, Frank? We are about to roll, but I will answer your question because you just caught one. When cutting a board down into smaller pieces, like for a tabletop panel, do I plane the large board before cutting or into? Oh, Frank, I literally was just doing that today and asking myself the same question.
You're putting down a what?
But not for cutting board, but I was planing down some boards and I was thinking, oh, I need to cut this down before I do it. So if you're gonna recut it, like if you're gonna rip it, let's say you've got a 13-inch wide board. I actually have 13-inch. It's right here.
Everything is right here. Just imagine how dangerous you would be if you had a wireless mic.
Oh my gosh, if I had a wireless mic, we would just get. So look, I was literally just planing this today. This is poplar, pretty cool coloring, right? Little rainbow poplar in the house, and it's got with a board this wide. You can't see it at all, but it has a little bit of a cup to it, kind of like this. And so I'm going to be cutting this down for drawer fronts, actually. And so if I just plane this down to my final thickness and then cut it in half, what's going to happen is that those boards are not going to be flat. And it's going to be, because like if you have a little cup and then you cut it down the middle, then you're going to have two boards that are kind of like have a little bit more of a cup, or a little bit less of a cup, not more of a cup. So you would want to rip this down. So if I was going to rip this down for whatever reason later, I would go ahead and rip it down the middle. So like on this one, you can see like here's the pith, and this is like just outside. So obviously the pith's not in it, but the center of the tree, the pith. My boards are gonna be about 4 3/16 about.
Specifically.
And so I will cut this just like a little wider and then plane it after I cut it. And what that'll do is it'll give you a flatter board. So I would definitely rip it down before you plane. Mm-hmm. So what I did is I planed some. So I would plane it until you get close to your final dimension, then rip it, and then that way it just saves you from more pushing through the planer.
Makes sense.
So that's kind of what I did. I was like, okay, plane, because I had to take quite a bit off of it, unfortunately. I was going for I want to go from an inch to closer to 3/4, so I took it down to a little bit under 7/8, and then I'm going to rip them in half. So I'm also letting it kind of chill out, because if you let it like sit overnight, any stresses in there will do their thing, and then when you plane it again, I really should rip this before to let it do that. Then you can join it and plane it, and you'll be in a better spot than doing all your surface planing and then just ripping it in half. Great question. I literally was just doing that a few hours ago. So, all right, guys, we are going to get out of here. Man, we went long tonight.
We did.
It was because you weren't here.
I know.
I was enjoying you being here.
I'm here.
Okay.
Hopefully the kids are all sleeping.
Yes, hopefully so.
Gosh.
All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Congrats to KC. Nice win, and we hate the Bengals. No, we love the Bengals. They're fine.
Hate the Bengals.
Yeah, so you guys have a great week. Get out there, build something awesome this week, and we will catch you guys next Sunday. Stay safe, have fun, build something awesome.
Good night.
Bye.